Okay, today's video is going to be a one-off, and I'm going to call this a tale of batteries. And I'm particularly doing that because today is where I commence the decommissioning of this battery bank here and replacing it with a new batch of AGMs that I have acquired. Well, they're not actually new, they are second-hand batteries, but they're new for my setup. So I'm just going to tell you a little story about this battery bank, which is battery bank A, or the day batteries. Actually starts with some different batteries. When I first started really getting into the solar stuff back in 2012, my first purchase off Trade Me was a bunch of these, and these are 38 amp hour gel batteries. I bought 8 of them, and as it happened, none of them were really any good. Like about 4 of them stuffed out almost immediately, and the remaining 4 ceased to be really strong batteries quite quickly, and now we're basically down to these 2 here, plus 1 more in the other shed that I just muck around with. Are the only 3 out of the original 8 that have any use at all, and just for low sort of current experiments, or maybe I'll use them for meter batteries or something like that, is where they'll end up. The rest of them have turned into either complete dead weights that I just actually literally use them for weights, or ballast, or propping things up, or there is one still, no, two actually, still helping to co-power this meter, but they're only putting out about 3 volts each. So, and as you can see, the battery sign's on, so they're about to go the way of the horse as well. So my first experience with buying batteries for my solar setup wasn't overly positive, and it did put me off gel cells for quite a while, but I have gotten over that now. So anyway, I needed some decent batteries. So one night when we was out shopping in Levin, we're in the warehouse, I just plunked out and bought this battery here, this one right here. And it's just an LM34C car battery. It's just a starter battery, nothing special about it, an ordinary X-side car battery. 50 minutes reserve capacity, 300 cold cranking amps, and no specified amp hour rating, although I've since learned it's probably about 30 amp hours, but you wouldn't want to treat it like a 30 amp hour battery, because after all it's a starter battery, so you wouldn't want to discharge it as deeply. So I bought that. I quickly bought this one, which as you can see is the same battery, but it's the D model. That says D there, LM43D, which just simply means is that the positive and negative terminals are around the other way, which is allowed for quite a convenient connection here. See? Now these are on opposite sides, so I can just strap real short across there. Then a long strap to another C type, and then a short strap to another D type. And this is finished off at the end with a, well, this is a different battery. This is a Newton power, and this is 450 CCA, a little bit stronger, a little bit better reserve capacity. I can't remember exactly how much now, I can't see it on the label, but this is a calcium battery, and it's a low maintenance battery, so, well, no maintenance, you can't put any more water in it. So, and I did actually have originally more batteries on here. I think it was 8 on this original bank originally, but once I started doing this B bank over here, which I'm not really going to talk about today, and I got these gels here, which was my favourite stored in gels for the lighting batteries, I cut this bank back because it was only meant for the day use. A few months ago I bought this 130 amp hour, and this is a proper deep cycle battery, but it doesn't hold terminal voltage that well, so I couldn't really put it in the circuit with these ones. So I've just put it in with these, but these relays here turn it in and out when I want it, and I call it my coffee assist battery. And I've made another video on that already, and how I put that in and why I did and how it's charged and stuff, so I'm not going to go any more into that. This may or may not stay part of the new rig here, we'll see. So I mainly just want to talk about these batteries. All of them standard car batteries, starter batteries. These have been running for this purpose for 2 years, and there's nothing wrong with them. People will tell you that you cannot use car batteries on a solar system. Well, that's complete and utter BS. I'm going to say right now that is bullshit. You can, but there's a couple of caveats. A, you will not get the performance out of them you get out of proper flooded deep cycle batteries or AGMs or anything. You will definitely not. They're not as strong in that role because they're not designed to deliver energy for a long time. So their terminal voltage falls off really rapidly when you load them up. I could probably just about replace this whole bank of 5 batteries with 170 amp hour AGM and get a very similar performance. Although I may be at times overloading the AGM battery with loads, doing that when with these I'm not. The second thing is that you obviously can't really deep cycle them. So the usual rule, of course, as we all try and adhere to with our solar setups, is to not take a battery such as these crowns or these gels, anything really, down to less than 50%. Well, these I would try and only cycle them probably down to 10%, 20% at absolute max, really. So I've always looked upon them as not deep cycle batteries but shallow cycle batteries, and if you treat them like that, then they will last and perform useful service. And like I've said, these are the day batteries, so therefore we run off these during the day. The idea is, yeah, to run off these during the day so that these ones here are left unmolested all day by loads to charge, so then at night they're freshly charged. Assuming it's a good day, of course. Like today, it's a pretty good day. See? Quite sunny. Clouds are coming over and that and back, but generally it's a pretty good day for solar. And they've performed, like I say, as day batteries they perform really well. So they're basically there just to give a bit of a load to the solar panels, because you can't really run inverters directly from a solar panel without a battery. You can, but it doesn't work very well. Although many times during the day, of course, that's exactly what's happening, because the inverters are getting all their power from the solar panels and the excess power is going into the batteries. But you see, as soon as a cloud sneaks over, the current will quickly run the other way. And then the cloud goes away and these go back to being topped up and the inverter goes back to being run from the solar panel. This is completely a 12 volt massively parallel system. As you can see, there's no high voltages in this particular bank, and when I install the new AGMs it's going to stay 12 volts. I know there's a lot of arguments for higher voltages, but my argument for 12 volts is that A, the equipment I've got is 12 volts. 12 volt equipment, particularly inverters, is a lot cheaper to get hold of, although 24 volts is now almost as cheap. And B, when all your batteries are in parallel, if you've got one that's not quite reaching the same terminal voltage as the others, as long as it's not massively low, as long as it's not like one dud cell, so it's down to 10.4 or something like that, the battery bank will actually go along quite fine, and the dud battery will not wreck the other good batteries. That only happens when you've got batteries in series. because the dud battery will allow either the other batteries to charge up far too much than they're meant to, but the charge controller won't know the difference because they're in series, or the opposite, it won't allow the good batteries to charge up enough and they'll become sulfated. So and generally I think that paralleling batteries will give you far less problems than seriesing them, although seriesing and paralleling together may open up a whole new can of worms, but that's just what I've found. This battery bank's 12 volts, my deep cycles over here are 12 volts, and they've been augmented by these couple of second-hand car batteries for a while too, but they probably don't do much on this setup. These gels, 12 volts, but I do have some 24 volt systems as well, and I've experimented with higher voltage ones too, not 48 volts but right up at 96, and once you start to go 96 volts and you've got like 8 12 volt batteries in series to get that voltage, then weak batteries really do become an issue, because the good batteries will try and reverse charge the weaker batteries ultimately when they are under load. Not good. But anyway, there's my battery bank. This is my day bank. I just wanted to say about this bank because it's going away. It's bye-bye car batteries. Well, they're going away. I mean, I'm taking them off this roll. They'll be decommissioned from being the day batteries, but they will still be in the system, but they'll just function probably as a backup now, so they won't be being called upon to give the service that they have been, and I'd expect I'll get several more years out of them, so it's been okay. I would just say, you know, I guess overall, I mean, this is a kind of a ranty video, but you know, this is my impression that car batteries can be used, you know, as long as you've got enough, and as long as you don't expect too much from them. And I would, you know, I mean, I would recommend someone who is about to get into solar, they got a solar panel and they're just waiting for a battery, just get a car battery and dive on in, you know. You can always upgrade it later. And as I've found over here, the deep cycle batteries and the car batteries do live okay together. They do not, one does not wreck the other from being on the same circuit, because their voltages are basically the same, you know. It's not so good to mix up, you know, say gel cells and flooded batteries. That would be bad, because then you're going to wreck one from overcharging or the other from undercharging. But deep cycles and starter batteries, not too bad. Not ideal. I mean, once I get 2 more of these nice big 225 amp hour ones, I'll get rid of these ones, but they've done fine for now. So there we have it, a tale of batteries.